You wake up one day and check your account. Zero, not negative, just zero. The rent is due in 12 days, the car needs tyres. Your phone buzzes with another medical bill, and for the first time you realise something uncomfortable. Money isn't just numbers on a screen, it's the distance between you and chaos. Most people never see that distance clearly. They drift from paycheck to paycheck, convinced that if they just earned a little more, everything would fix itself. But the math tells a different story. Your savings level doesn't just change what you can buy, it quietly rewires how safe you feel, what risks you can take, who you spend time with, and even how you sleep at night. In the USA, UK, and across Europe right now in 2026, the gap between those levels has never felt wider. Housing costs keep climbing, interest rates refuse to settle, and inflation keeps nibbling at whatever you manage to put away. So today we're walking through the quiet, often invisible shifts that happen as your savings move from nothing all the way to $5 million. This isn't about motivation, it's about the mechanics most people only discover after it's too late. Let's start at the bottom. Level 1. $0. The survival zone. When your liquid savings sit at zero, life runs on a hair trigger. One unexpected expense, a broken boiler in a UK winter, a surprise dental bill in the States, or a job cut in any European city. And you're borrowing from friends, maxing credit cards, or praying the overdraft doesn't trigger fees that snowball. At this stage, time feels expensive. You can't wait for a better job because the bills arrive every month like clockwork. You say yes to every shift, every side gig, every overtime opportunity, not because you love the work, but because saying no risks eviction or lights going out. The hidden mechanic here is brutal but simple. Without a buffer, your choices shrink to reactions. Stress becomes background noise. Sleep suffers. Relationships strain because money arguments are rarely about money alone. They're about fear. And here's the part nobody likes to admit. Millions of hard-working people across the US, Britain, and continental Europe live in this zone for years. Median net worth for younger adults still hovers surprisingly low, even after years of work. One bad month can erase months of progress. Level 2, $5,000 to $25,000, the first breath. The moment you cross into a small but real emergency fund, something subtle shifts. You stop waking up in mild panic when the car makes a strange noise. You can say no to a terrible job offer without immediate terror. That single change, the ability to pause, is worth more than most people calculate. At this level, you're still renting in most cities. Groceries are planned, not spontaneous. Vacations are rare and cheap. But the constant low-level dread begins to fade. You start tracking expenses, not because you enjoy spreadsheets, but because you finally have something worth protecting. The irony? Many people reach this point and immediately feel tempted to spend the buffer on deserved upgrades. A nicer phone, better clothes, one more streaming service. The system is designed to pull you back down. Advertising, social media, peer pressure. They all whisper that safety is boring and consumption is freedom. Level 3, $50,000 to $150,000. Stability with strings. Now the ground feels firmer. You have 3 to 6 months of expenses covered. In the US, that might mean a decent high-yield savings account still earning something after inflation. In the UK or Germany, it might sit in a protected deposit account. Life at this tier looks like quiet competence. You can handle a job loss for a few months without panic selling anything. You start thinking about contributing to a 401k or ISA or local pension scheme instead of just surviving. Dating, friendships, even family visits feel less loaded because you're not constantly calculating every coffee. But the strings are still there. In expensive cities like London, New York, or Munich, this amount of savings doesn't buy a home. Mortgage rates hovering in the mid-sixes in the US or shifting in Europe mean your monthly payments remain punishing if you do buy. You watch colleagues with similar salaries but dual incomes or family help pull ahead. The gap starts to feel personal, even when the system is partly to blame. Here the uncomfortable math appears. Compound growth is slow at first. Putting away a few $100s or pounds each month feels meaningful, yet the balance inches upward at a pace that tests patience. Most people underestimate how many years this middle ground actually lasts. Level 4, $250,000 to $750,000. The quiet turning point. This is where life begins to bend in your favor, but not everyone notices right away. With several $100,000 saved and invested, you gain real options. You can negotiate harder at work because walking away no longer feels impossible. You might buy a modest home with a manageable mortgage instead of renting forever. In parts of Europe, this level starts to feel like upper-middle comfort. In high-cost US coastal cities, it still requires careful budgeting. The emotional shift is striking. Anxiety about what-if scenarios drops sharply. You sleep better. You take slightly smarter risks, asking for that promotion, starting a small side project, or even moving to a better school district for kids. Yet irony creeps in. Many people at this level still feel broke because their lifestyle has quietly inflated to match the new number. The bigger apartment, the nicer car, private tutoring. Suddenly the same savings that once felt massive now seems normal. The hedonic treadmill doesn't care about your balance sheet. Level 5. $1 million, the first real threshold. Crossing $1 million in savings and investments changes the conversation in ways that surprise even those who hit it. In the US, financial media still calls this nothing in some cities, but the math disagrees. At a conservative 4% withdrawal rate, you're looking at $40,000 per year before taxes. Not luxury, but real breathing room when added to Social Security or a pension. In the UK or parts of Europe combined with state provisions, it stretches further. You stop obsessing over every expense. You can afford to be selective with your time. Travel becomes possible without guilt. Healthcare worries ease because you have a cushion for deductibles or private options where public systems strain. The hidden mechanic most people miss. Relationships start to shift. Some friends pull away, uncomfortable with the gap. Others lean in, assuming you can always help. Family dynamics change too. Suddenly, you're the person who has it sorted. But 1 million is not escape velocity. In 2026, with healthcare costs, housing and potential longevity, many still work because they want the income, the purpose, or the insurance. The number buys options, not automatic freedom. Level 6. $2 million to $3 million. Real margin. Now the game accelerates. At 2 to 3 million, the numbers start working harder than you do. Investment income becomes noticeable. You can live comfortably in most mid-sized cities across the US, UK, or Europe without drawing down principal aggressively. You choose projects you actually care about rather than whatever pays the most. The absurdity, lifestyle creep, often accelerates here too. People upgrade to bigger homes with bigger maintenance costs. Kids' activities multiply. The tax bill grows. What felt like wealth at 1 million can feel merely comfortable at 3 because expectations move faster than the balance. Still, the quality of life jump is undeniable. You repair things instead of replacing them cheaply. You take time off without calculating lost wages. You help family without resentment. Stress-related health issues often decline simply because constant low-grade worry disappears. Level 7. $5 million. The freedom horizon. $5 million in savings and investments marks a profound divide. At a 3 to 4% safe withdrawal rate, you're looking at $150,000 to $200,000 per year in passive income potential before taxes. Enough for a very comfortable life in most places, even accounting for inflation and healthcare. You can retire early if you want, or work only on terms you set. Geographic arbitrage becomes realistic, splitting time between lower-cost European regions and US opportunities. The emotional texture of daily life changes again. Decisions feel lighter. You say no without guilt and yes without fear. Time becomes the scarcest resource, not money. Many people at this level report a strange calm. Not euphoria, but the absence of financial dread that had been background noise for decades. Yet even here, the skeptic in you should stay awake. 5 million is not infinite. Poor investment choices, major health events, family needs, or long retirements that stretch past age 95 can still create pressure. Markets crash, taxes evolve. Lifestyle can still expand to swallow the gains if discipline slips. The broader implication is uncomfortable. The system rewards early consistency far more than late heroism. The distance from 0 to 1 million often takes longer and feels harder than the jump from 1 to 5. Compounding works quietly in the background while most people focus on the visible drama of income. So here's the lingering question that stays with many who reach these higher levels. If $5 million still doesn't feel like enough to some, and $0 feels like drowning to others, then maybe the real variable was never just the number in the account. Maybe it was always the gap between what you need and what you've been told to want. And maybe the people who figure that out earliest, regardless of where they start, are the ones who actually win the game. What level are you at right now? And more importantly, what story are you telling yourself about the next one?